The 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, stood at the podium, his hand raised in a solemn oath. The cold January air swirled around the National Mall, where hundreds of thousands of spectators gathered to witness history. Flags waved, cheers erupted, and the Capitol's white dome stood as a symbol of democracy, but it was not Donald Trump or his speech that would make the day unforgettable. It was his youngest son, Barron Trump, who captured the nation's attention and left the room silent with a single, shocking statement. Barron Trump had always been a figure of quiet intrigue. Tall for his age, with a sharp yet boyish demeanor, he rarely appeared in the public eye, and when he did, he was often composed, almost stoic. As the youngest child of Donald Trump, Barron had been shielded from much of the scrutiny that followed his father and older siblings. On this day, however, his presence was unavoidable. Dressed in a tailored navy coat, Barron stood among his family members, his expression unreadable as cameras zoomed in on him. The inauguration ceremony proceeded as expected. Oaths were taken, speeches delivered, and prayers recited. Yet, anyone paying close attention to Barron might have noticed something unusual. He seemed distracted, his eyes darting across the crowd, his lips moving ever so slightly as if rehearsing something in his mind. As Donald Trump finished his inaugural address, the crowd erupted in applause. The president turned to his family, gesturing for them to join him on stage for a moment of unity. As Melania, Ivanka, Eric, and the rest of the Trump clan ascended, Barron hesitated. He lingered at the edge of the stage, his hands gripping the railing. "Barron, come," Melania urged softly, her voice barely audible over the noise. But instead of following her, Barron took a step forward, away from the family and toward the microphone. The audience, and the millions watching at home, held their breath. What could this 10-year-old boy possibly have to say? Barron's voice, steady yet tinged with nervousness, rang out over the hushed crowd. "I have something to share," he began, his words amplified by the microphone. The unexpectedness of his action rendered everyone speechless. Even Donald Trump looked momentarily taken aback, his expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. "I know today is about my dad and his role as president," Barron continued, his young voice carrying an unusual weight. "But there's something more important I want to talk about." The crowd leaned in, their collective attention fixed on the boy. Social media exploded with speculation as live streams broadcasted his every word. What was he going to say? What could possibly compel him to interrupt such a momentous occasion? "I've seen a lot of things in the past year," Barron began, his gaze scanning the crowd. "I've seen people fight. I've seen families stop talking to each other. I've seen kids in my school arguing because of things they don't even understand. And I think that's not what we're supposed to be." His words were simple, yet their sincerity struck a chord. The innocence of a child's perspective made the divisions of the nation seem all the more heartbreaking. He paused, his hands gripping the edges of the podium. "My dad talks about making America great again," Barron said, his voice unwavering. "But I think we can't be great if we're not kind to each other first." The crowd was utterly still. Reporters in their press boxes stopped typing. The usual hum of whispered commentary and shuffling feet ceased entirely. Even the most jaded political pundits found themselves captivated by the boy's earnestness. "I'm just a kid," Barron continued, "but I know that being mean, calling people names, and always arguing doesn't make anything better. My mom says you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think that's something everyone here, and everyone watching, can do." His words hung in the air, unembellished yet profoundly moving. The simplicity of his message, to be kind, to listen, to empathize, felt like a revelation in a time of deep political and social division. Donald Trump stepped forward, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. For a moment, the famously brash businessman and now president appeared vulnerable, his eyes glistening with emotion. Leaning into the microphone, he said, "Well, folks, I think my son just gave the best speech of the day." The audience erupted into applause, a wave of unity sweeping through the crowd. People from all walks of life, supporters, detractors, and those in between, clapped together, their differences momentarily set aside. It was a scene that would be replayed countless times in the days and weeks. Barron's unexpected speech became the defining moment of the inauguration. News outlets praised his bravery and sincerity, with headlines like "The Wisdom of a Child" and "Barron Trump's Call for Kindness Resonates with a Nation." Social media was flooded with messages of support, and videos of his speech went viral, amassing millions of views. For weeks, Barron's words were a topic of discussion in classrooms, workplaces, and homes across America. Schools incorporated his message into lessons on empathy and kindness. Families used his speech as a springboard to mend fractured relationships. Even late-night comedians, known for their biting satire, found themselves praising the boy's courage and wisdom. Though Barron returned to his usual low-profile life after the inauguration, the impact of his words lingered. He became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the most turbulent times, the voice of one person, no matter how young, can inspire change. In the years that followed, Barron occasionally appeared at public events, always met with admiration and respect. He never sought the spotlight but continued to champion the values he had spoken of that day. And as the nation navigated its challenges, his message of kindness remained a guiding light. The story of Barron Trump's shocking and poignant speech at his father's inauguration is a testament to the power of sincerity and the enduring wisdom of a child's perspective. In a moment that could have been overshadowed by politics and spectacle, a young boy reminded an entire nation of the importance of empathy, unity, and kindness. And in doing so, he left a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come.